This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. I used to say that it was shorter and looser and all of that, but really it's just this all over again now. These are getting to be 40 minutes long. We're recording them every week. Basically, we do 2 podcasts, but one of them is special for you if you support at patreon.com/sayswho at the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail every month because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club, which is a very good club. Patreon.com/sayswho.
Today, this book writer is going to make a pitch for just her socials because she's got to remember to get back and do a bunch more social media stuff because she got overwhelmed.
It happens.
I'm on Instagram at Maureen Johnson Books. I'm on Blue Sky at MaureenJohnsonBooks.com. And I write books.
We're reaching a very weird and rare moment of confluence on Blue Sky. I am just a few hundred followers lower than you. That has never happened ever.
Well, you're OG Blue Sky.
I am OG Blue Sky, but I was not particularly high OG Blue Sky until I wrote about the Ku Klux Klan, and then I basically doubled the number of people that are following me. So
that is a good article. Wait, man, you hit it.
Apparently I hit it. So follow Maureen. Go ahead and follow me too if you're not. You probably are.
Follow Dan.
And if you want to buy some books, you can always go to kickbezosintheballs.org. Our presciently, that's not a word.
Prescient is
presciently named website. I don't think that's a word though.
Website? That's a word.
That is. Anyway, kickbezosintheballs.org. That's where you can get some books. You can get Maureen's books. You can get any book. I've ordered a bunch of books from there lately. So go do that. If you're buying things on the internet, you can also go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com. That is our own merch store. And I would love if you visited shop.dansinker.com. That's my merch store. Things on the internet, you can buy them. And you cannot support shitbags still for a moment.
Dinkity donk. Yeah.
Dinkity donk.
Dinkity donk. That's my new catchphrase. Dinkity donk.
That's quite a catchphrase. I think that one's going to catch on.
Yeah.
Dinkity donk.
I don't like it when you say it. Hey.
Yeah.
Dan, get in. Dan.
Whoa.
Get in.
Maureen,
get in.
Did you?
Come on, get in.
Did you buy a Cybertruck?
Get in.
All right.
This is my new car.
It's very big.
Yeah, get in. You come through the back. It's all square. I'll pop the lid for you. I don't think it's... Hey, just climb in.
Okay.
Hey.
Why did you buy a Cybertruck?
So I haven't had a car since the 90s because I live in New York City. But this guy on the street was like, will you buy my car? I'll take cash, whatever you've got. And I was like, I have $15. And he was like, that's fine. So I bought it and now it's mine. So
wow.
Yeah. People have been really loving it. Everybody's been like, I can't hear what they're saying because I got the music playing, but everyone's been raising that, they're giving me that one woo outside. I can tell that's what they're doing. It's what do you think? What do you think of it?
It's I don't know that this is I'm not sure they're cheering for you. That person right there is definitely flipping you off.
Would you slap out that fire? Just use your beard or something. Just slap that out.
Yeah. Does that happen often?
Well, no, not often. It hasn't happened since you've been in the car, so just the once. So,
okay. Oh wait, start it again.
Yeah, just open the window. It fires love air. It'll blow out the window. What I like about it is that it's getting bigger, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like it's You ever, when you were a kid and you imagine what it would be like to live inside of a calculator? That's what this is like, you know?
Okay.
It's like a finally living that dream.
That was the dream?
Well, it's one of them. It's very dark in here. But it is also very pointy and kind of
that
like
might be the smoke.
it's a lot of smoke. It's real plasticky, so you feel like you have choices. I feel like this is new me. This is my Cybertruck era that I'm entering.
This feels like a bad era, honestly.
Is your beard on fire?
Yeah, it is.
You slap that out.
Yeah,
where do you want to go?
Nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Come on, let's go, man.
Everyone's
let's go. Where do your
pointing.
friends? Where do your friends live? Let's drive there.
No, we're not going there.
Hey, this is Dan Sinker in here. Yeah, that Dan Sinker. You know him? You know him? Yeah, he's here in my Cybertruck. He told me it was the coolest car in the world. See you later, losers.
This is.
Oh, Dan,
they're
your shirt's
throwing
on
things.
fire. Your shirt
Yeah.
is on fire. Just left that out.
Do you have like an extinguisher?
No. So where do you want to go? You want to go to McDonald's or something?
I just want to get out of here.
Your seat's on fire. Just left that out.
Uh,
You want to climb in the back? There is more fire back there, but it's not as much as there is up here.
okay, I think I'm just gonna get out.
That's why I've started wearing asbestos.
That's good. That's a good choice. You're making good choices, Maureen.
Listen, this is a new era. Ride or die. Welcome. Says here, hold on. Let me be fancy now.
Whoa, Maureen just tucked a feather into her cap.
Yeah.
It
Well,
just
it's not
slumped.
Hold on. This
Why
is my
do you have
fancy.
a giant aqua-colored feather? That is a big feather.
Yeah. Better question, why don't you?
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
She just reached like slightly out of view and plucked out a giant feather. Do you have a giant bird just out of view? Oh no, now she's pulled a second feather. Why do you have these?
Why not? Yeah.
Why?
Imagine how cool I feel.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
But how do you have these just easily
You can
accessible?
buy them. People just sell them to you.
Like on the street?
No, just like feather vendors.
Okay.
I want to rearrange my feathers. Yeah, I like them. I keep them in little like jars and stuff and put them around. Like a fancy lady.
As one does.
But right now my flowers are in my picture. So I took my feathers out and I put my flowers in.
Okay.
Trader Joe's man. Flowers. Flowers.
How are you, Maureen? You seem great. You seem totally
Together?
good.
Yeah. I think like a lot of people, I'm feeling smart, collected, and smooth.
That's the going feel right now.
I was texting you on Friday, and I believe what I was saying was things are bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you were.
Because I thought things were bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a rage baby, and I had to get up and start walking around because I didn't know how to make sense of anything anymore.
Okay.
How are you? Do you have a little cannon on your shirt? I can sort of see it peeking out from under your beard.
I do have a little cannon on my shirt. That's a Arsenal Football Club shirt.
That
is their logo.
Oh, fancy.
I'm very fancy. How am I? I am no longer particularly sick, which is nice. I was sick for like a week, which was not great for many reasons, not the least of which being sick, but also I now feel like I'm a week behind.
Yeah.
In everything. But I am mostly better. I still have a little bit of like loose phlegm rattling around, but generally this weekend I was like, oh, look at that. I'm halfway human. And now I
Oh, the
feel
one
like 5/8 human.
when those lights come back on, it's something.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I
know,
was really sick and I ran all the tests and I didn't have any of the things. It just seemed like I had a raging case of consumption or whatever.
I bet you had the flu.
It didn't come up. I have the...
They didn't on my test at the urgent care, but then my doctor did the up nasal swab and it came back.
Yeah. I always think of a flu as being like vomity, but it's not. The flu is just anything.
The flu is like...
I'm confusing the flu and the stomach flu, I guess.
Yeah, no, the flu is like just being really sick. And
yeah, I probably had that.
Respiratory virus.
Yeah, I probably had that.
And you feel like hell.
The thing that's so weird is usually the way of things in our house is everyone gets sick but me, or I get the real mild version. And this was like the crazy flip version where I was sick as shit. And the little one got, like, he stayed home for a day, and it was one of those days where you're like, you probably could have gone to school. And Janice never really got sick. So it was a rare moment where I was the one truly laid out.
I think you had... The flu is so around right now. It's so everywhere.
Yeah, it probably was. It probably was. But it was nasty. It was really bad.
Well, good news. We have got... contagious diseases are going to be fixed.
Hey, speaking of which, I wanted to congratulate you on 2 cases of measles in New York City.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice job. Great work.
Yeah. It's really contagious.
It's extremely contagious.
I was wondering about, because they're advising people to get boosters.
Yeah.
But I have an actual, I think, how would I phrase it? That I have a titer, that they've done a titer, or that I have a titer. But because I had it, they could test my... They could test me and see that my numbers were fine.
Okay.
So having it at 17 was apparently maybe protecting me now.
Great work.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did it.
But again, I feel like I am the Cassandra of this who keeps running around going, I had the fucker because of anti-vaxxers. It gets through the cracks.
Oh, yeah. The thing that I wish that maybe... If only there had been, I don't know, like a global pandemic 5 years ago or something that we could have learned something from. That would have been helpful right now, I feel like. But not so much.
No.
It was 5 years ago. Pretty much right now, Maureen. We're like, we're I think 10 days from when they canceled my kids' schools.
My God, you're right.
Yeah. My phone is always like, remember 5 years ago. Blee, isn't this fun?
And it's a picture of a pile of masks.
Yeah, exactly. I made hundreds of masks in the
I was going to say, I still have a couple of yours still.
Yeah, I mean, I literally made hundreds of them. Mailed them out to everyone I could.
Yeah, I thanked you very much. And then I got one N95, and I used to cover it with that mask.
Oh yeah,
try to preserve it.
Yeah. Now you can just buy them anywhere.
Trying to figure out how to get in and out of the building via the elevator 5 times a day.
Not great.
Without getting COVID.
Not great.
Great. Oh man, being in the center of it when that was ripping through here in the beginning. What a ride.
Yeah. Not a good ride.
It was a ride, Dan. It was informative.
You know what? I just put 2 and 2 together. Speaking of rides, I sent this to you on Instagram. But it is also the 5-year anniversary of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That's when it was first started?
Wow. On this day, 5 years ago,
what?
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So they opened the Nothing Can Stop Us Now, Nothing's Ever Gonna Go Wrong ride. And like at Disney
as
World.
COVID.
And
How
then
long was
like a week later had to shut shit down.
How long was Disney closed?
Disney reopened that summer.
So
because we had Watch Jurassic Park guy on that week on this episode, Stephen Ray Morris.
Oh, right.
Now I gotta look it up. When did Disney World after COVID?
So it was closed for about 4 months?
It opened. Here we are. Oh my God. You remember when we used to be able to find
Florida?
Stuff and just get it? Oh, Florida opened long before California. Okay. On July 11th, Disney's Magic Kingdom 2020, Disney's Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom began a phased reopening, followed by Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios on July 15th. So there you go. So they were closed from...
So Florida was closed for about 3 months.
Yeah, and then when did Disneyland reopen? That was gone a long time. So Disneyland...
September or something?
No. April 29th, 2021.
Wow.
Is when the LA Times wrote an article titled, Disneyland is open again. Here's your ultimate guide to the park. When does it reopen? Oh, it opened April 30th with limited capacity and restrictions. So it was closed for over a year.
Wow. Hey, remember when the world shut down?
I do. Vividly.
And now here we are, Dan. When we thought 2020 was a ride.
We're just on a different, scarier ride now.
Remember early, like in this here's the thing. I don't remember January very much.
You don't remember January of this year?
Yeah.
You don't remember essentially last month?
No, last month was February. I remember February.
I know, but it's the 4th of March. February was only 28 days long.
Look, January, I remember coming home. I remember kind of blanking a lot because I knew what was coming up. And then I got the flu. And so there's a lot of
that's fair.
You know, I was doing stuff, but I feel like I can't even remember much of November and December either. Like,
yeah,
a lot of it's just gone. Like my brain was like, I'm going to help you out. You're not going to remember shit about this.
Oh, yeah. Brains are amazing that way.
It's like, nah, it returned me to where I had been on the day that everything happened, which was with you.
Yeah.
On Mickey and Minnie's ride.
It's true.
And it put me back there and kept me safe. I can remember that day in vivid detail. The weather, what we ate, where we went, like when I felt it was sunny, my water bottle, like the sunlight dappling through us, like waiting to get on. Like I can remember all of that.
Remember
and then after that,
sitting in that little like green space in the downtown Disney and hanging out with SaysWhovians? That was great.
Sure as shit do. I turned upside down on my chair.
Yeah. I
looked for some water.
Nice.
Oh, it was so smooth. Those mornings were so soft.
Yeah.
And nice and warm and gentle.
The teen lives out in that general vicinity now. And he sent a picture yesterday of him working in a park. And it was like sunny and gorgeous.
We got to move.
I know. Be nice.
But we'll get there, Dan. There is something in California that I'm not convinced is real because I've never seen it with my own eyes.
Okay.
And that is the grocery store. It's like Erewhon. The one that's nowhere spelled backwards. The one that you can buy like a $50 strawberry.
Yeah.
And the celebrity smoothies that are like $25.
Yeah.
Until I see it. Until I see this hot bougie nonsense from my own eyes.
Yeah.
I know that some of you will live in California and be like, oh, no, it's real. But I just want to see it.
Yeah, I don't need to see it. I mean,
I want to see them.
I've never gone into one.
Because I've seen some hot bougie nonsense.
I think
That hotel I stayed at in
a whole nother.
California was hot.
That was some hot bougie nonsense.
Woof. That was hot bougie nonsense.
That was some hot bougie nonsense.
Everything was like a different, more gentle color of beige.
Yeah.
And everything was like, just sit everywhere, man. And every corner you went was like another nook of adorable beigeness. But it was all very relaxing.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want us to bring you some lavender water? Or like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I had gotten this deal on it. And I had all these food credits. And they're like, and we get $80 credit for breakfast. So we would go to breakfast, but then breakfast would cost $120. But fortunately, I had even more credit on top of that. But we thought $80 for breakfast would be like super fine. Like we're like, whatever. Like I don't even eat most breakfast foods. So like I'm always a cheap breakfast date.
Yeah.
$120. It was nuts.
We were really living different. We were in the Hampton Inn just down the way from you. You got the free breakfast. We were living it free breakfast style until somebody essentially attacked the waffle batter machine, and suddenly there was just waffle batter everywhere.
I respect that.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta just get a lot of waffle batter fast.
Look, this place, because I booked it, like it was some weird thing. If I booked it with my credit card, I got like $600 in food credit. And I was like, we're going to be eating like kings. And truly, it went so fast. It was like, it just got destroyed. But then I went out and I went and got the tacos at, what was 1918 tacos or something?
Tacos 1986.
Fucking walked down, got these tacos. Walked in the sun. We walked down the beach. We were on the beach together. We looked at the goddamn sunset.
Yep.
Remember all this time?
I do. Our last day there, you had left the day before. Our last day there, we went down to the beach, and there was like a pod of dolphins just hanging out in that general vicinity. And so we were just standing there. It was gorgeous. We were looking at dolphins. It was nice. Dan,
we have some major news from my English family.
Oh, yeah?
My in-laws are moving out of the New Forest.
Whoa.
I know.
What?
It's right for them, but I am devastated.
Yeah, what about the ponies?
They are not going to have ponies anymore. Like they are moving closer to my brother and sister-in-law.
Okay.
Which is also incredibly beautiful where they live.
Yeah.
But there's something about not going back to the forest that I am...
Well,
gutted.
You might need to correct that problem.
I was like, we need to buy their house, but their house is like, it's too much house. It's got 2 stables. Like it's a spread.
Hey, we can live in a stable.
There is a second house there.
Dude, this is, you've solved all the problems in like 3 sentences.
Dan, for real, if you wanted that to happen, we could live in the forest. There are 2 houses there. There are outbuildings to make stuff in. There are stables that you rent out the stables and the pastures. Like that's not a problem. If other people want to keep horses there.
I'm not seeing a downside here.
And it's just beautiful big garden in the back and just privacy and soft forest sounds all the time.
Sounds great. I'm packing.
Because Dan, again, I live with an immigrant. I live with an English person who I have to say on a daily basis is not directly saying anything, but is giving a little more side eye over time, a little bit like, nah. So
that makes sense.
Shall we get into it? I think we should.
I don't want to.
I keep getting dinged from I had to pay for a New York Times subscription.
Yeah.
I didn't want to rejoin the New York Times for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But in order to do research on some stuff happening within New York State, that was the only paper that was really doing that reporting. Yeah. So I had to resubscribe.
Okay. But what are you getting dinged about?
I don't know. It's got me on alerts now. Everything's like, you got to know about this.
The alerts. You got to turn off. What is this? Your first day with a phone?
I don't know. I have never interneted before.
Oh boy.
I am trying to corral this project for Authors Against Book Bans because I run the New York chapter.
Yeah.
And it is this incredibly complicated project in which we are trying to, I've said about, like, we're going to track all school board elections in the state of New York.
That is a hard problem.
It is.
Yeah.
Because part of the thing is you make scorecards for, like what you find out what positions are on book bans. But there are something like 690.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard thing.
So Oscar tried to he has like a deep research AI program or something.
Okay.
He needs to use this to do something within computing. Like he's recomputing with something. And he's like, do you want me to run it as a search? And I was like, you can try if you've got this stupid thing. And it returned just gobbledygook, like useless garbage.
Yeah.
So, so trying to track this to work this problem out is like looking down 700 separate googly rabbit holes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not going to be just me.
700 separate rabbit holes that are all displayed in different ways, that are all going to be calculated in different ways, that have varying levels of candidates with any presence whatsoever.
Correct.
Is very difficult.
Now,
I built the City of Chicago School Board. Best city in the world. Just elected our first school board ever. So they were, there were multiple candidates for each district. And I put together essentially what you're describing for just the city of Chicago and the 10 districts and the probably 40, 50 candidates that were running across those 10 districts. And it was so difficult. Yeah. I think there was still one candidate that we literally never found any information for, right? That we could link to. And this is a city, and these were well-heeled candidates. So, yeah, that's a hard problem.
It's not just me. There's a whole team of people from Authors Against Book Ban in New York that have volunteered to be the research team. But I'm just trying to define the scope of the problem and organize the project. Yesterday I was on the phone with the League of Women Voters, and they're like, "Yeah, we have no idea." I was like, "Hey, if we make this fucker, I will share it with you, and then we will have it together because we need it." But it is. I was up last night. I read books on book banning, cases about book banning, librarians fighting book banning. There's a new book about a case in Texas, by it's on my phone. I believe the title is, because I was reading it last night while I was reading something else. I believe it's First They Come for the Schools. Here we go. It's about it takes place down in Texas and is written by a journalist. They Came for the Schools by Mike Hixenbaugh, and it's his research on basically what happens in this battleground of suburban Texas when these book bans.
It's good that you have this project because you don't have a lot going on.
I feel like I don't know, Dan. I'm not short-circuiting. The other day I was downright elated because my friend said, "Hey, I'm coming to the city with she's bringing the kids. They were going to go see the 20-Sided Tavern, which is a live D&D kind of off-Broadway show." And I looked at Oscar and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm buying tickets. We're going," because we never fucking go anywhere. We're always here working or doing something.
Yeah.
And I was like, instantly bought tickets and said, "We'll be there. We'll meet you there. It'll be great. I don't even have to know what's going on."
Yeah.
And it was so fun.
Well, that's good.
You get assigned a role and you interact. They have an app, so like you can help them decide what course of action they're going to take.
Wow.
And this guy rolled a natural 20 at one point, and that's a phrase I know now. Natural
Okay.
20. And it was my guy. And I cheered so loud. I was like, yes, I was so happy about it. And I was like, look at these goobers up here on stage doing fun stuff. Like
Well, that's good.
It was like I had taken I don't think I get out enough. Even my mother on the phone was like, it's good to see you getting out. And I was like, oh, it's not good when your mom's like, you need to get out more. Like that's not good. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just that I'm paranoid that I'm not working enough.
Yeah, that's definitely how I would describe you. Not
paranoid
working enough.
But you know what I mean? Like when your jobs can fill all the available space, you're like, well, I could be, I take time out in the evening. I don't, because we have been turned on because of you to Guys Grocery Games.
Oh, yeah, dude. Guys Grocery Games is awesome.
Big fan.
Oh, yeah.
We watch that at dinner time now because all our shows ran out. I was like, well, dance this is good. And Oscar's been going through finding all the vegetarian battles.
Oh, that's fun.
So like, then it makes me feel like I'm playing along a little bit more. I'm like, wow, what's he gonna do with that papaya? But
one of my favorite things in the world is that Guy Fieri, just what are the odds, is actually like a really good, decent human being.
Apparently, just an absolute legend of a guy.
Yeah. I mean, about 5 years ago, raised millions of dollars for out-of-work restaurant workers. Called companies like Pepsi and basically were like, fuck you, put money in this goddamn pot.
Everyone I know that's ever met him has been like, genuinely good human. Like, really, really nice guy.
The
real
author,
deal.
The author, Hanif Abdurraqib, who I love all of his writing, had a thing. It was a few years ago now. He's a big basketball guy, and he was I think it might have been the NBA Finals or one of those things, and he described being in the parking garage, and the car in front of him kept stopping, and he was like, God damn it, what's going on? And then he realized the car in front of him was Guy Fieri, who kept stopping, running to his trunk, opening his trunk, pulling out a pizza and handing it to a parking lot attendant, and then getting back in his car and driving off to the next one.
Okay. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's a good dude.
And when you see him in the games, because I was always like Guy Fieri, but I'm like, he's a nice person. Like he's not snide about any of it. He was like, because during the vegan and vegetarian games, when you are a vegetarian, you watch a lot of cooking shows, you're used to people being like, and vegetarians, they can go fuck themselves. Like you get used to that. And you expect it really. And he's like, I've been cooking a lot more vegetarian. I think it's really exciting. And it's really going to be cool to see what they come up with because these people are great. They make some great food. And he was so genuinely nice and encouraging and wasn't talking shit. I was like, by the end of every episode, I'm like, I like him. I like this guy.
He's a good dude. And yet also seems to be every single thing that he appears as well. Like, I remember there was a profile of him, might have been Esquire or GQ or one of those. And like they described his house, and I believe he had a pool, and by the pool were giant light up letters that just spelled meat.
You know what? I don't hate that.
No.
If you're going to have giant letters by your pool that spell something,
spell meat.
I feel like even as a person who doesn't eat it, I think that I kind of like it. Meet me by the meat pool.
Speaking of delicious food, Maureen, today is the greatest day of the year because it's Punchki Day.
I would love one of those now that I've seen delicious pictures.
Man, we had good ones today. There's like a nearly 100-year-old bakery not far from us. And that's been the traditional Punchki place for a really long time. And there are always huge lines and all of that. And then a few years ago, a really good bakery opened quite like around the corner from us, and they started having punchkis, and it was like, oh, well, this is a lot easier. But they closed down last year. So I went back to the OG joint, and man, they were good. I was like, these are amazing. Then I was like, oh, right, we haven't had these in a while. Turns out the old school joints are where to go. For those of you who don't know, these are Polish donuts, essentially, like filled donuts that are served up on Fat Tuesday. They're the kind of Polish version of how do we clean out our pantries before Lent.
My grandmother made fashnaks, which are
Excuse me?
fashnakt.
I don't know what that is.
Donuts.
Okay, yeah.
Like small, just donuts, basically, like small plain fried donuts with a little sugar, like the kind of delicious regular plain donut.
Yeah.
Kind of cakey. My grandmother, and they were small. They weren't super big, so you could definitely eat 2 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
these
my
are
grandmother
huge
always
and heavy.
I'm amazed that I went to an actually Polish high school, so I'm really kind of shocked that they weren't. Maybe they were, and I just was oblivious.
Yeah, I don't know. That is surprising because it's huge in Chicago because Chicago has a giant, Polish population. It's big in Detroit for the same reason. I've always assumed that it's big anywhere that there's a large Polish population.
Polish spoken in the halls of my school. We offered Polish as a language. Yeah, so like it was truly
what the fuck, people? You missed out.
And it's 36 minutes in and we haven't talked about the new shit. I just want to point that out.
I think it's fine.
Nope.
All right.
So you know why? You know why, Dan?
What?
Because
why?
For some reason, Friday was so upsetting.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad on a level that I could both articulate and not articulate.
Well, let's attempt to articulate it. By Friday, you are referring to the meeting in the Oval Office between President Zelensky, Donald Trump, and JD Vance. Mm-hmm. All right. Just want to set that up for people.
And a bunch of Goombas.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah. Well, you want me to explain it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. On Friday, Zelensky, who has spent the last 3 years basically living in a bunker.
Yeah.
Went to the White House to presumably talk through this minerals agreement in which the United States was like, nice country you got there. Shame if something happened to it. Why don't you give us, I can't remember, is it 50% of their mineral output or like it's some.
So Ukraine is sitting on a lot of rare earth minerals that are the kind of driving force of everything. Tech. Yeah. The entire modern economy drives on rare earth minerals, and Ukraine is sitting on a lot of them. They haven't actually developed most of that. In part because, war. And yeah, so the deal was basically like, here, we've negotiated a peace deal without you. And we'd also like you to sign over half of all of your minerals forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he went off to the White House to do that because, what else can you do?
They got there, and I guess the first talks about they had some talks before they had this press conference. And I guess it didn't go great because I guess Zelensky walked in and they must have been like, and now you'll just sign this. And he was, I guess, like, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
And then they got, if you haven't seen it, I am really genuinely happy for you.
Yeah, for real.
They had a press conference. So it's Trump, Zelensky, Vance is on a couch. Marco Rubio is there.
Yeah.
That's a whole different subject. And then a bunch of like Ask Clown reporters, not the AP.
Right.
Not Reuters.
I think. Reuters is out now too.
For some reason, TASS, the Russian state media, was there.
Yeah.
Some weirdos, like random conservative, like guy made a outlet in his basement weirdos.
Yeah.
And a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
Like not a punching fight, although I think everybody that watched that really wondered how Zelensky didn't start punching people in the face.
For real.
Now Zelensky is wearing a black Henley, basically. A nice one. It's got a crest on it. And he has worn that ever since the war. He is a wartime president, so he wears his sort of military outfit. So this fight breaks out, and Vance now is very famously says from the couch, like, you know, you haven't said thank you once since you've been here. And Zelensky says, do you know what's going on? And have you been to Ukraine? And Vance says, well, yeah. Well, you know, I've read the stories.
Yeah.
But you haven't even said thank you. And then Trump starts saying things like, you don't have the cards. Zelensky says, I'm not playing cards.
Yeah.
Throughout it all, Marco Rubio, if you've ever want to see what the word dissociating means, watch Marco Rubio throughout this.
Yeah.
He is the most dissociate. Like, if that's what it is, like, you look at what he's doing, he's staring directly ahead, expressionless, like slumped in. He's got no neck. It's gone. It's just like a little one of those Fisher Price little people. It's just like a round block on a body, like thunk. That's it. And he turns away once when Vance starts laughing. Like, he just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Obviously, fuck that guy. It's nice to see him suffer. That was the only good part of it. Some dumb reporters like, you know, and you're not even wearing a suit.
Yeah.
To which literally everyone was like, Musk comes in every day in a t-shirt that says tech support.
Yeah.
And when Winston Churchill turned up during World War II, he was wearing a siren suit, which means it was like a unit, like a coverall.
Yeah.
Because he was a wartime president.
Yeah.
It was, and then they threw him out of the White House.
I think he left, but yeah.
No, he got ejected.
Oh, okay.
They were like, you got to go. They didn't finish what they were doing. They get out. They chucked him out of the White House.
Unreal.
So then he goes to England. Now, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of England, had been in the White House this week and was very like stiff smile. Macron had also done some stiff smiles. They all were looking at Trump like, I cannot fucking believe I'm here, but like, fuck, you know, like a stiff smile. We're doing what we need to do. So everyone kind of wondered what the UK would do, what the world was going to do.
Yeah.
He goes over to the UK. The UK is like, he was hugged and he was told, we're going to give you like £2 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, then last night, am I jumping ahead, Dan?
No, this is great. I'm just along for the ride right now. This is fantastic.
We pulled our all funding to Ukraine.
Yeah, we did, which is yet another thing that is illegal because that money has already been allocated by Congress. So not that is stopping anyone right now, but it's at least worth pointing out that pulling that funding is not actually a thing that a president is legally allowed to do. In addition, I think it was last night, J.D. Vance, which one thing that I will say, this whole incident has proven yet again what a fucking charisma vacuum that dude is. Like, he went on, I think it was Hannity, and was basically like, well, you need America because, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to send 20,000 troops from a country that hasn't fought a war in like 40 years, which was a direct reference to the UK, with which many people then pointed out, like, hey, fucker, guess who died alongside you in fucking Afghanistan? You stupid motherfucker.
Oh, they're not taking it well.
No. The thing that dawned on me yesterday, you know, we've talked about this before, that a major motivating factor for Donald Trump to run again, and now that he has won, to, you know, one of his driving things is revenge, right? The thing that I realized this weekend, and this gets into the next thing that's on the list, which is he announced that the tariffs that were on and then off against Canada, Mexico, and China are now back on, right? And the thing that I realized is that when I thought about Donald Trump and revenge, I was thinking, oh, he's going to take it out on the Jan 6 committee people, and certainly Jack Smith from, the independent counsel from the Justice Department is going to get fucked and all of that. No, his revenge is against everyone, the entire fucking world for rejecting him, right? And all of the United States of America for not reelecting him originally. That is his revenge. Anyway, so now he has declared a trade war, essentially, with these massive tariffs that are already fucking crashing our economy. It was interesting yesterday watching him say that they were really going to happen. It was like one of the news channels that does, like, they have a stock ticker, running along the bottom all the time. I can barely watch them because there's too many things to focus on. But if you watched it, he was announcing that this was happening, and you could literally see, like, the Dow Jones just plummet as he spoke. So yeah, he has. They also, the folks that like compute GDP have computed that his, GDP is going to shrink for the first time in 3 years because of him. Part of that has to do with the fact that they've laid already tens of thousands of people out of the government, and they're wanting to lay many, many more. It's wild to me to think about the fact that, one of the things that the Biden administration did not get a lot of credit for whatever reason, right? The narrative at the re-election point was all about how the economy was no good. Well, they kept us out of a recession, right? Which everyone said was going to happen. And now here we are, like, fucking 6 weeks in, and everyone's like, yeah, I think we're going to enter a recession. And this is all fucking voluntary, right? But here's the thing. On the flip of that, yesterday in France, a whole bunch of Teslas were fucking arsoned outside of a Tesla dealership. It was also reported that 7 Tesla charging stations in Massachusetts have been burned down. I feel, and maybe this is wishful thinking, I feel like Elon Musk has been less noticeably visible than he was prior to this past week, right? Republicans announced this morning that they are going to stop their town halls because the town halls that they've held in the last couple of weeks have been absolute fucking shit shows for them. And here's the thing, Maureen. I want to couch this by saying everything is real shitty, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is sustainable for them. It has been 6 weeks. I don't think there's a single person at this point that can say that they're not worse off today by any measure. They can try and spin it, and they certainly will spin it. And in fact, I think they are floating the idea that they are going to recompute GDP in a totally different way that doesn't make any sense, which checks out because these folks are all about fucking weird accounting methods, right? And so I think that they can construct a house of cards that might block people from seeing how bad this is. But I don't think this is sustainable. Like, they have absolutely broken things real bad and real fast. Again, this man has been president for 6 weeks. Like, I don't mean to say that it's not going to be brutal, that it's not going to be really hard, that things are not going to get a lot worse. But I feel like there is already so much happening that is against them. And that makes me feel a little bit hopeful.
I've been staring at you.
Yeah, you have.
Like very intently. Like I realized I had
just as I finished speaking, I was like, oh no, I've said all of this and she's frozen. I thought maybe your internet had gone down.
No, that was me kind of trying to figure out what to think, because interesting conversation with Trump phoning Dad. I called yesterday and he answered my mother's phone, like she had it on the table or something, and he was like, "Hello," and I was like, "Hi, how are you?" And we've had it out because I'm having a hard time talking to him because
Yeah.
I don't like talking to bootleggers right now, which is how
Sure.
I refer to. I'm like, I don't associate with bootleggers, but I'm very direct with him. I'm like, the choices you've made, you are part of the choice that is destroying people's lives.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to pretend like everything's okay. But he said, "You know where I've been thinking about moving to?" And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Portugal." And I said, "Portugal? You think about
Sure.
leaving the country?" He's like, "I heard, all you have to do is buy a house there and everyone speaks English." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, what?" I'll just blow past the fact that suddenly you're like, and I was like, why you think about leaving the country there? And he's like, well, if we had to. So my words about what is going on has penetrated to some level that he's like,
Yeah.
but here's my thought, Dan. I try to live a life. I try because I'm so Philadelphia inside to
Yeah.
always remember no revenge, no injuring people, like to try to think non-injurious thoughts about people.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think very non-injurious thoughts about Trump voters, even though my brain is like, injure them. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to injure you. Here's the thing. You can vote for Trump and be a supporter, but you can't leave. You got to stay here no matter what happens. Other people can leave. So like if they would, you get a passport check at the border, like, do you vote for Trump? They find out you vote for Trump. They're like, no, you got to go back. You got to stay. Other people are allowed to go, but no matter what happens, you can have your vote for him. You can do it. You can support him, but then you can't leave. That's the kind of weird game I'm now playing in my head, is that you got to
Okay.
stay. You fuckers have to stay and eat shit. What does that mean, Dan? First of all, we all know, right? No snitches. If you know who burned down those Tesla charging points, you tell no one.
No.
They are running scared. They should get no peace wherever they go. If you have any Republican, local or state center, whatever, they shouldn't be allowed to walk the streets without being harassed.
Yeah.
Like verbally, like people just saying them, making their day unpleasant. They shouldn't be able to sit anywhere and eat. They shouldn't be able to go get a coffee. They shouldn't be able to go shopping. They shouldn't be able to go on vacation. They shouldn't be able to sit on a beach. They shouldn't be able to sit in a park. They shouldn't be able to basically take the air with other humans around without feeling without feeling bad, without being told, just people constantly honking horns and saying just reminding them of what they did. People should be hovering over them. They should get no peace. And it is our personal responsibility that any of these fuckers, they're sitting next to you in Chili's, you start yelling at them.
Well, there was the like the oh my God, my head stopped working there for a second.
It's because all that positivity.
Well, today, so like I said, like the Republican folks, the powers that be, whoever, were like, yeah, don't do these town halls anymore. And the response from folks was, well, it's already past the town halls. Like, they're protesting at my house. They're doing, and it's like, good.
Yeah.
But also, that's fast, right? To get to that point. I also appreciate Tim Walz, former vice presidential candidate, the person who very smartly was like, hey, how about we just call them fucking weird creeps? He posted up today and was like, hey, you know what? If Republicans aren't going to hold a town hall in your district, let me know. I'll come and host a town hall with whatever Democrat's going to run against them. I was like, well, that's smart.
Yeah.
I think it was Cory Gardner who was running for re-election of the Senate in Colorado. He stopped doing town halls. This was, I think, around 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. he stopped doing town halls, and so they got a cardboard cutout made of him, and they would just bring him to town halls, right? And they would, then would hold a town hall anyway without him. They would call press. Press would come and cover the fact that, they were holding this thing in front of a cardboard cutout of Cory Gardner. Like, do that shit. Mm-hmm. Get fucking creative. If they don't hold town halls, fucking hold them anyway. Cut out a fucking piece of cardboard with them. Hold it in front of their offices. Do whatever,
Car alarms there should never be a night that there's not a car alarm going out in front of their house.
That was my entire 20s. Yeah. I don't think people really use car alarms anymore.
Put something on a drone and just like buzz it by their windows. Just like put like something on a loop, have a little speaker and just follow them around the drone that shouts stuff. No peace.
Yeah.
They should not feel like they can walk around this place that they are destroying with all the people they are killing and hurting.
Yeah.
And feel like they can enjoy the benefits of anything here.
Speaking of which, another moment of feeling pretty good, there were protests at every national park over this weekend.
Yeah, there's like 3 people running them.
With many, many, many people showing up. Also, let's fucking talk about J.D. Vance in such a fucking bubble that after insulting Zelensky, he's like, okay, well, that's great, guys. I'm going off for a ski weekend in Vermont.
Yeah. He's not smart.
The videos of the hundreds of thousands, maybe, of people lining the streets around the ski resort that he was staying in was amazing. Also, the ski resort publishes like did you see this? The weather email? They publish like a daily weather email. You know what? I'm going to pull this up because it's fucking great. And I feel like it didn't get as much
I didn't hear about this.
Coverage. Yeah. So hold on. Let me find this. I saw this in kottke.org. All right. I found this. So he was supposed to be skiing at the Sugarbush Resort in Warren, Vermont.
Sugarbush!
Yeah.
Hey! Tell me everything. I
used to work with a Canadian who married into maple syrup money.
Ah.
And they literally refer to maple forests as sugar bushes. And I'm like, come on now.
Hey.
Okay. But I'm going to just push. I'm going to push past Amy Carter here.
What? Okay.
All right. So this is off kottke.org. This morning, Sugarbush snow reporter Lucy Welch, this is like the person that for the resort, took the opportunity to make some good trouble by sending out a message via email to all Sugarbush Daily Report subscribers, right? So this is normally the person who's like, these are the snow conditions on the mountain. All right, March 1st, 2025, 6:49 a.m. Today of all days, I would like to reflect on what Sugarbush means to me. This mountain has brought me endless days of joy, adventure, challenges, new experiences, beauty, community, and peace. I found that nothing cures a racing mind quite like skiing through the trees and stopping to take a deep breath of that fresh forest air. The world around us might be a scary place, but these little moments of tranquility, moments I've been fortunate enough to enjoy as a direct result of my employment here, give me, and I'd guess you too, a sense of strength and stability. This fresh forest air is more specifically fresh national forest air. Sugarbush operates on 1,745 acres of the Green Mountain National Forest. Right now, national forest lands and national parks are under direct attack by the current administration, who is swiftly terminating the positions of dedicated employees who devote their lives to protecting the land we love and to protecting us while we are enjoying that land. This administration also neglects to address the danger or even the existence of climate change, the biggest threat to the future of our industry, and the skiing we all so much enjoy here. Burlington, Vermont is one of the fastest warming cities in the country, and Vermont is the 9th fastest warming state. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, a resource I use every day for snow reporting, is crucial in monitoring extreme weather events and informing public safety measures, and is also experiencing widespread layoffs and defunding at the hands of the administration. Sugarbush would not be Sugarbush without our wonderful community. Employees and patrons alike, we are made up of some of the most kind-hearted, hardworking people I've ever met. Our community is rich with folks of all different orientations, ethnicities, and walks of life, who all contribute to make this place what it is. They all love Sugarbush because it is a place where they can come to move their bodies, to connect with the land, to challenge themselves, to build character, and to nourish their souls with the gift of skiing. Many of these people are part of the LGBTQI plus community. Many, parentheses, well, that's a stretch. We all know this is an incredibly whitewashed industry, are people of color. Half are women. Many are veterans or adaptive skiers who, through Vermont Adaptive, are able to access snow sports in part thanks to federal grants through the Department of Veteran Affairs, which is also facing devastating cuts. Many of our beloved employees moved across the world through an exchange program on the J-1 visa to help this resort run. They are not U.S. citizens. All of these groups are being targeted, undervalued, and disrespected by the current administration. The beauty of national forest land is that anyone and everyone is welcome to enjoy it. Everyone can buy a lift ticket. I also imagine it is incredibly difficult and likely impossible to say no to the Secret Service. I hope that instead of faulting Sugarbush management or employees for, quote, allowing this to happen, you can direct your anger to the source, the administration that, in my so humble opinion, is threatening our democracy, our livelihoods, and our land. I want to reiterate how much I admire and respect my fellow employees. I want to point out that this is a fucking email that's usually like, the powder's great on the mountain. I want to reiterate how much I admire and respect my fellow employees and managers. They work so hard to make this place operate, to keep you coming back and enjoying it and making lifelong memories. Many of them may feel the same way that I do, but their hands are tied, and for good reason. They have families to support. They have benefits and health insurance to receive. They face far greater and more binding pressure from corporate. I am in a privileged position here in that I work only seasonally. I do not rely on this job for health insurance or benefits. And hey, waking up at 4:30 a.m. isn't exactly sustainable. Therefore, I'm using my relative platform as snow reporter to be disruptive. I don't have a whole lot to lose. We are living in a really scary and really serious time. What we do or don't do matters. This whole spiel probably won't change a whole lot, and I can only assume that I will be fired, but at least this will do, even just a smidge more than just shutting up and being a sheep. I'm really scared for our future. Acting like nothing is happening here feels way scarier than losing my job. I want to have kids one day, and I want to teach them to ski. The policies and ideals of the current administration, however, are not conducive to either of these things, because at least how things look now, I'd never be able to afford a good life for a child anyway, and snow will be a thing of Vermont history. So please, for the sake of our future shredders, be better here. It has truly been a pleasure writing your morning snow reports. I hope this one sticks with you. With love, peace, and hope, Lucy Welch.
Wow.
And then she ends, but hey, while we're here, 1 to 3 inches of fresh snow to kick off this interesting weekend, and then just does the actual report. That's what you fucking do.
Bet your ass. Use everything. Use sticks. Use scraps. Use newsletters. Print shit out. People are printing things out and just leaving them on Teslas.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just anything. Printers. Yeah. Somebody has a thing that's like of a printer that said this machine fights fascists. Like everything.
Yeah.
Paper, pens, yelling at people.
It's also worth pointing out that black and white laser printers have no traceable, they don't leave any traceable information. Colors do.
Really?
Yes. If you print with a color laser printer, it prints a couple of dots that you can't see, but that can be, can be read, that give the information of the printer that it came from. Black and white stone.
Wow.
Black and white laser printers, they're the best.
That's what I have. I don't have that color printer.
That was how the U.S. government leaker reality winner got caught. Was the reporters that she leaked to didn't fucking obfuscate that. They didn't know it existed. So
right.
Whoops. So anyway, that's just something you can know. But anyway, that fucking letter, man. This is why I'm like, I feel sort of hopeful. right? Like, there aren't the same huge, like the Women's March or that sort of thing that happened the first time. But all of these little grassroots moments where people are just standing up. It's worth pointing out, JD Vance left early. The
Yeah, he ran
people
away.
did not fucking leave them alone. They were protesting on the slopes. They were like at the bottom of the hill. There were people with signs. Like, they left early. They literally tucked tail and ran off. Now, to me, part of why I find that hopeful is this is how fucking insular they are right now. They thought they could go to Vermont to ski and it would work. Like, they could have gone to Utah. You know, like, there are places with mountains that probably would have been a little more, you know, a little less confrontational, but Vermont is not one of them.
Everywhere they go, none of these fuckers should be able to eat in a restaurant in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
They should know by now that they can't eat in restaurants.
Remember in the first time around when fucking Pence went to Hamilton and they called him out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we do.
But that point was like, oh, how could they? How could they? How dare they? And then Pence had to run because this president, the guy he works for, was going to murder him. They were going to
kill that man.
Whenever people are like, when they're like, how did we know this was going to happen? I was like, because when he left the last time, he was going to kill the vice president. That's how I know.
Yeah.
He was going to kill the guy that worked for him.
That's how
he left.
Man. Yeah.
So when he came back, what the fuck did you expect? But to steal from the book title, Dan, what you're describing is little fires everywhere.
Oh, look at you.
And we all have the capacity to light a little fire.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody's activated.
Yeah. Do it.
Everyone is activated.
And on that note,
we're not saying light actual fires, but if you did, we would not snitch on you.
We wouldn't snitch.
We don't snitch.
We're not snitchers.
We do not. Dan, what do you
set fires, but we're not snitchers.
And we're not snitchers. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. What we don't know, we can't tell. We're not telling anyway. Yeah. We don't know nothing. Hey, Dan, what do you know?
I know nothing, Maureen.
Hey, I'm the cops. What do you say to me?
I don't say shit.
That's right. Hey, Dan, are you going to snitch?
I'm no snitch.
I don't want to snitch. No snitch.
And on that note, Says Who is made possible by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where you get this pretty much all over again on Sundays now. If you give it the $5 or $10 a month level, that $10 also gets you a sticker in the mail because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can contact us at SaysWhoPodcast.com on Blue Sky and at SaysWho@omfg.town on Mastodon. You can always email too at HEY, that's hey, at SaysWhoPodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. There's also a fan-run Discord server at tinyurl.com/SaysWhoDiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you listen. You can join us next Wednesday, March 12th, for our very next episode. Whew, from my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
And from here in New York City, thank you again. We did no shit on us this week.
It's true.
Don't. I want 1 week. That's right. I'm Maureen Johnson. Hold on. You don't deserve my feathers. I was going to put feathers back on my hair, but you don't deserve them.
No, I was just coughing.
How fucking dare you? How dare you?
This has been Says Who.
Let's see how this if Positivity Dan is here with us next week.
I mean, it's a dark positivity.
Dark positivity, that's our new thing. I don't think...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
my god. This has been such